Hi everyone, welcome back to another discourse of mine, and I welcome all the new followers, new subscribers, and those who have been with me for a while and those who have been with me for the last few months. You guys have been all so amazing, each and every one of your comments, how you're supporting one another and how we are building this really beautiful divine feminine community is just very beautiful. Like I'm so happy that because I used to be totally under the radar, and as you guys know, I only had a couple of hundred followers, so I guess I'm being guided by the universe to expand just a little. So again, welcome everyone, and I know you guys have been really enjoying my discourses of late, like the one that I did yesterday as well, about the noise in the third energy. So if you guys want to clear your third energy, you can purchase the third energy clearing via my website, and it's also in the link in the description. And of course, if you guys want a one-on-one session with me, you can book the new client session via my website as well. All right, with that, as the topic speaks, I know this is a topic that it's going to really hit a sweet spot, because contrary to so many different kind of relationships out there, this one is going to truly, especially if you're on a Monadic Twin Flame journey, it is going to truly resonate. So that's why I've titled it We Made Love Without Touching. And the reality is, I might change my mind on the title later, but yeah. So as I'm recording this discourse, we're going to delve in. We're going to talk about the hidden intimacy of twin flame fields. So that's why today's topic, again, let me sit up upright because I realize I am like, my back. All right. So today's topic is something almost no one talks about, but nearly every true twin flame has felt. So hence why, I say we made love without touching. So I want it to land for a second, because this isn't a metaphor, this isn't imagination, and this is what actually happens when two monadic fields start to merge. Hence why I'm presenting this discourse on etheric communion, energetic merging, and the sacred power of non physical union. So let me share a quote with you. So this is how it feels. People may say, hey, they didn't even kiss. But what they didn't see is that as Monadic twin flames, we literally undress each other in silence. So that's why I wanted to redefine intimacy on the twin flame path. Of course, I'm not saying that everything is only going to be in the non-physical. Of course, you're going to enjoy all aspects of it in the different stages of your Monadic twin flame connection. But however, on the first meeting and to the separation phase, until 3D stable union physical lovemaking, this is all that you may experience. Or you may also experience the physical. It really depends on your journey, really depends on, which aspect you are, which part of the journey you are. But remember, the most important thing is, the reason why I really want to spend some time talking about this is because most people assume it's such a 3D construct. Most people assume intimacy begins with touch. But that's not the full truth. Intimacy is literally, I remember I read something long ago, I think it was one of I'm trying to recall. Okay, so basically this is the gist of the of the quote that I want to So basically, intimacy. Okay, so this is where I'm coming from, all right? Modern day love construct, intimacy is everything but intimacy, because intimacy is truly knowing each other beyond the naked bodies. The naked body is the bonus, but of course, it's beyond that. So, what I actually mean is intimacy. A lot of people confuse lust with intimacy, attraction with intimacy. But true intimacy is everything. You undress each other's soul before you even touch each other's body. And that's how it is in the Monadic Twin Flame journey. Because 3D construct, most people assume intimacy begins with touch. But in a twin flame dynamic, especially in a monadic twin flame one, intimacy begins in frequency. And let me say this loud and clear: intimacy begins in frequency, intimacy begins in frequency, and intimacy begins in frequency. Before there is physical closeness, before there's physical closeness, there is field closeness. What looks like nothing to the outside world, a conversation, a shared glance, a few hours on a couch, is in fact a multi-dimensional merging of two soul fields as one, collapsing timelines and opening portals beyond language or logic. And that's why it may have just been 5 hours in a kitchen cooking like one meal, but it may have felt like an eternity, because there is nothing, you know, as about it. Again, I can't use certain words because I'll be flagged. But that's the most intimate thing you can do with your divine masculine, because you don't need to touch to be aroused. You just have to think of one another. And if you get to be in the same field, rarely but beautifully, oh boy, that is a burst of all the O's in the world. And then when it builds up to physical intimacy, I don't even have to talk about it. That's why I did a discourse on multidimensional lovemaking once. You guys can check that out. Earlier discourses. So this is the hidden intimacy of twin flames. When love moves through the etheric body and not just the physical form. That's why today we are going to really talk about monadic intimacy and the field of true union in a very deep way. So what if the most powerful union you experienced was the one nobody else saw? So in a world where love is equated with grand gestures, public declaration, especially with the age of social media, public declaration, and 1 million roses, or physical consummation, showing each other off in public. But the most sacred form of intimacy often goes unnoticed, or worse, invalidated. See, what's the point? The ancients know, but modern men, age of swiping, there is no intimacy. People don't even know what the hell they're doing. But anyway, why are we talking about them? Let's talk about us monadic twin flames. But for some of us on the monadic twin flame path, intimacy begins long before the first kiss. You know when it began? It began when our fields whispered, when presence becomes enough, when nothing happened and yet everything shifted. So what I mean by this is, it begins when your field and his field whispers. So you just don't talk to your divine counterpart. You actually merged with him wordlessly. Wordlessly, without words. So that's why most of the world is so, what do I call it? So narrow in defining intimacy as just physical contact. Of course, a part of it is physical contact, but not everything is. So modern day love is literally a kiss, a touch, and a night together, and bye bye, next swipe. But in a twin flame dynamic, especially when it's a monadic twin flame connection, intimacy begins long before the bodies touch. It begins in the feel, the aura, the soul, the unspoken electric space between two incarnate stars. So that is the reason why you start to look beyond after activation. So that's why I want to really, really define intimacy. So, so I want to be very careful again. See, that's why I think I need to do those closed door sessions because there are a lot of words. Even now, I'm thinking I actually use naked. Even though the context, if you guys see, it's really not about that, but I have to be careful, right? Because of being flagged due to community standards. But you know where I'm coming from. So, energetic communion is what happens when two souls enter into a frequency lock before any physical contact takes place. So, this is the pre verbal, pre S, and pre romantic, but not pre sacred part. So, in your journey, this would have looked like sitting across from each other and feeling the air change, talking for hours yet sensing words were actually not even necessary. They were secondary, laughing together until it became timeless, time blurred because your fields were syncing, total sync. Breathing synchronicities without touching lips. You know how intimate that is when you are like just next to each other and you just feel the energies. So spontaneous emotional vulnerability as well. Like your hearts know the door code to each other's vault. So these are points where you might just be saying things that you would have never shared with anyone. But remember, these acts aren't just flirting. This is actually field intimacy. So let me be very clear between physical intimacy and field intimacy. Most people confuse 3D chemistry with soul level resonance. But when your fields are already in communion, there is no need for touch. Like, totally no need for touch at all. That's why energetic lovemaking is when two soul fields intertwine so deeply, so profoundly that your entire being responds. There is no physical act yet. All right? It's only merging. Your breath changes, your heart opens. Time, you be asking me, what is time? And suddenly you are inside each other's frequencies. And you tell me, what more romantic than the 3D love that a lot of you tend to chase for? Marriage, validation, recognition, 1 million roses, a grand proposal, a marriage where actually no one is even interested in blessing you. Back in the day, marriages were very sacred. The elderly people you invited to weddings, they were there just to give their blessings. But nowadays, it's all comparison, it's all competition. So when the sacredness of marriage is gone, why chase after the acknowledgement when you're already divine husband and wife? Like, how many times do you want to get married? Really, 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 really. So that's what I mean, you know. when the fields merge. Energetic love making is like when your auric fields interact so deeply that your souls begin to entwine, regardless of whether your bodies ever touch. It is sacred, involuntary act of soul communion, often marked by expanded heart fields and spontaneous bliss. It's like it's like it's like you don't need words. It's just presence. You see, that's the reason why the heart always yearns for presence. Like when we're in separation, like when I was in separation, I wasn't expecting anything from my divine masculine. I just wanted to be in a field where we were close to each other. And many of you all feel the same way too. It's just that due to 3D constructions of love, it's so easy to confuse because the presence is the field. But the thing about the third energy is, even without the physical presence, we are still connected. It's just that the mind, the 3D body and the 4D mind just can't accept how can love be like that because of the conditioning and the brainwashing and the mind washing of our society. Very sad but true. So that's the reason why monadic level intimacy is not 3D romance. You will enjoy 3D romance at some point. Don't worry, that will happen. But you also need to appreciate all other aspects of intimacy within the monadic twin flame connection as well. Of course, our biological body has needs. I'm not dismissing that. But at the same time, why do you want to settle for something that is unstable when you have it all within to stabilize the field? That's why there's a difference between energetic flirting and monadic field merging. Your connection bypasses the chase dynamic, the performance based seduction loop, and the need to prove or earn affection. You existed in presence and also recognition, which is exactly what terrifies the unhealed ego because there's nothing to control, seduce, or earn like modern day connections. So, in monadic twin flame pairings, love begins exposure, not validation. You really don't need love making to feel close. It will come when your fields stabilize because your fields has already been making love in the ether long before earth brought you together. So that's why you may feel like after every conversation you were trembling. After eye contact, you felt like making love with the soul, with your DM soul. Physical tingles, sacred arousal, warm waves while talking or texting, literally. Like a text from him saying thank you for everything could mean like literally thank you for everything, including the acknowledgement of the third energy. That's why, a lot of people will notice an afterglow after you meet your divine masculine or emotional collapse as well. Intense dream time merging or feeling entered into like silence, sacred meditation. Oh boy, everything. Because you're not imagining this, guys. This is what I call field intimacy, and it's very, very, very sacred. So let me say this very clearly for those of you who are doubting yourselves right now. If you have ever cried after being in your divine masculine's presence, if your body has responded without reason, if you felt closer to him in silence than with anyone in physical S, this is real. And you're not crazy, you're remembering. And that's why I want to go into the signs you may have experienced, in terms of etheric intimacy with your divine counterpart. So there will be moments that are often subtle but unforgettable. You may have experienced your heart beating way before he even meets you. And this heartbeat is not out of anxiety or even excitement, it's something beyond. It's like, that's why these encounters can't be forced. Every physical moment you have with your divine masculine should never be forced, because then it will backfire, because your divine masculine's nervous system will not be prepared for for the meeting. And that's why, if it is not God orchestrated or universe orchestrated, your divine masculine will lash out on you because he's not able to hold the field. And often, if you're coming from a place of chasing or desperation, or not aligned intention, then he's going to totally, yeah. So that's why always, you know respect the divine plan. So that's why I'm saying, deep conversations would feel like emotional undressing. There'll be things that your divine masculine shares with you that he would not share with anyone, that you would share with him and not anyone. And you would feel so normal. And eye contact that penetrated lifetimes. You might even have, you know, birthmarks in the same area. Like you might have like a mole in the same place. Literally, there will be so many signs. But of course, if you talk about it, he's going to deny it, of course, right? And you see, the sacred signs of energetic union should never be dismissed or compared to 3D levels of affection. Because what is actually going on is that these are like field markers. Your shared breath rhythm, feeling lightness, heat, dizziness in your divine masculine's presence. Silence between you would feel like music, not awkwardness. You see, that's why when you force the feel, it becomes awkwardness. So that's why you might notice your divine masculine using the word awkward, 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 even though he might not even know the definition of what awkward means. So that's why conversations may feel like an entire lifetime being lived, and you intuitively feel his emotions before he expresses them. And that's why these are not physical coincidences. This is what we call monadic entanglement, a soul level integration, or a braid, a soul level feel braid. And that's why twin flames merge without touching, because in this kind of a connection, you don't wait for the bodies to catch up. The souls already know each other, and the fields have their own story, and the divine masculine doesn't have to understand it consciously, but his energy field knows. That is why he avoids and craves for you all at the same time. He will feel calm and also unsettled around you. He will feel bliss and also extremely awkward around you, you know. And that's what you might not understand. He has spent so much time with you and he was totally fine. And why is he feeling awkward? The runner chaser dynamic sometimes. He will remember you in dreams and even when you haven't spoken. And he will react when you shift energetically, even across continents. See, the third energy, as I had done my discourse yesterday, is a very, very powerful field. But if there's a lot of noise, you might not be able to feel it. That's the reason why the absence of S makes intimacy more sacred. In a karmic world, S is often used as a tool for validation or control. So, really, validation or control. That's why the swiping culture, see, it's no longer about, oh my goodness, I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go down that debate. It's no longer about respect anymore, you know. The way modern day dating works, it's really sad and disrespectful. Even though it may have started out with great intentions, but the way it is right now, I don't want to make any comments. So, what you've experienced is a raw, etheric presence without the buffer. And that's why, for our divine masculine, who often feels safe, excuse me, expressing affection through physical acts, being seen and loved without that outlet, that's terrifying. Because there's no role to play, no mask to hide behind, no climax to distract from intimacy. He was received, not pursued, not seduced, just seen, and it took him to the core. Modern day relationship, there's manipulation, there's seduction, there is they make the men want them to chase them. There's a lot of control and validation. Twin flame connection, it just is. And that is the problem. The just is not enough. And that's why his sacral reacts. His breath catches, his mind doesn't get it. But his feel knows you've already touched him. And sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, that's the why, that's the reason, that's why he actually pulls away. Because this kind of intimacy without physical permission is the ultimate exposure. So you may ask how the divine masculine feels this, even if he doesn't understand it. He may not have words for it, but he knows. Your divine masculine actually feels extremely calm in your presence, even if there's chaos everywhere. And that's why during the initial stages, he would spend so much time with you that he forgets that he had spent that much time with you. He may, example, come to your house at like 11 a.m. and you'd only leave at 11 p.m. Like that's 12 hours. And time would pass by. Like time wouldn't even pass because it's timelessness. And if you recall, you'll be like, what were you even doing? Without 3D kind of S, like what were you doing? The fields were merging. And the fields merge for a reason because you needed to merge to a certain point before the whole separation phase begins. Because you needed to merge enough for you to remember, but then you need to go in your separate directions to come back again with stable energies to unite. That's why your divine masculine will dream of you or think of you after every encounter. Can't explain why he avoids you yet seeks you. How one moment he feels so close to you, another moment he feels awkward to you. Reacts strongly to your feel shifts, even when you don't speak. And that's why when you come in with the chaser energy, he pushes you away brutally. And you may be thinking he doesn't think, this is not 3D anymore. It's like amalgamation of everything. That's why often he may experience sacral arousal and with other women, with other people. He might have issues in that area, but with you, even without touching, he's getting aroused. And that is very, very, very scary for him. So he may have been the divine masculine who literally, because he's not working, because he suffers from ED or something, he may not enjoy sex at all. Or he may have been brutally embarrassed by his exes, past relationships where he's embarrassed on that basis. So he doesn't want to be humiliated by you. So he humiliates you first. You see where this is going? He humiliates, he pushes because he's afraid that just by looking at one another, you know everything. Imagine if he were to take you to the next level of physical intimacy. He's afraid of unlocking the universe. Because this merging scares him not because it's wrong, but because it's true. His body may resist, but his soul remembers. So that's why this teaching is very, very, very crucial in your journey. So that's the reason why, the years of my practice as a clairvoyant, I would have clients coming in saying, hey, they did not kiss, they did not have ass, but they know it, they felt it, they remember it. They have imagined it. So that's why this teaching is here to end that shame loop. The deepest unions happen long before the body catches up. In fact, many sacred monadic twin flames won't enter the sexual field until, oh my God, I used the S word, the love-making field, until the energetic braid is stable. Because the field itself is doing the courting, the merging, and the awakening all at the same time. That's why the aftershock, you might always feel drained afterwards, or high, or shattered, or feel like you've lost your virginity in the end, literally. I know it sounds a bit far-fetched, but it is true. And for you who are really in the journey, you will know what I mean. you know because your field was open, your auric body did make love, and it was not casual. This wasn't hookup energy, this was a cosmic wedding rehearsal. That's why sometimes you feel your divine masculine days after he's gone, years after he's gone, months after he's gone. You will cry after a text. You'll feel warm in the womb from a memory. Remember, you're not broken or delusional. You're just experiencing divine merging without touch. And why is it more sacred than physical lovemaking? Because physical lovemaking, I'm not saying is bad. It's actually very, very beautiful, especially for twin flames. It's another level. You're literally feeling like you're making love in the stars because there's no time. And when you touch in the physical, it's like electricity and magnetism all together at once, because that's initiation. But you can only make love when the energies are stable. And that's the reason why the aftershock is you feel both. You feel drained and also blissful. You sob without knowing why, like there's a deep ache. And energy lovemaking, it's like a cosmic marriage, and cosmic remembrance actually. And that's the reason why I mean initiation, because it's like a Kundalini activation, a blueprint remembering. It's when your souls whisper, we have done this 1,000 times before in other lifetimes on other worlds. So that's why if he has never touched you, but your body burned for weeks after, you know why. If he had never kissed you, but you felt more open than ever before, that was real. It's not about logic, it's not about proof, it's about presence. Your divine masculine entered you in the one place that mattered, your sacred field. And that's why you feel so much aftershock. That's why the takeaway for the divine feminine is you didn't miss anything. Because intimacy is not separate in a twin flame journey. It's multidimensional, it's sacred, it's everything. You didn't need a kiss to know your lips had spoken lifetimes. Like literally, you didn't need to hold his hands to feel how light melted his shadows. You don't need to be naked to feel exposed because your soul was already bare in his presence. And remember, you didn't imagine any of this. But you see, divine masculines run from sacred nakedness, not because they don't feel it, but because they feel it too much. So that's why if you're watching this and it resonates, you're really not crazy. Your story is one of the most sacred soul initiation this planet holds. So don't shrink it. Own it. You have made love without touching. Because your fields remembered a love that never forget you. That's why if you have experienced this and you're ready to understand it deeper, I offer private sessions to like really look at your field, decode your field, soul retrieval, soul realignment, third energy clearing to integrate with the twin flame merging experience. That's why I highly recommend the third energy activator clearing. You know, it's on the link. Check that out. So I love you all, and I really hope, you know, again, many of y'all would be watching this video, and you know, some of you may be on the journey, some of you, you know, maybe on another journey, but this would apply mostly to Monadic Twin Flames, Divine Feminine. So, guys, if you feel this way, do share your experience on the comments. And I'm having a promo for the third energy clearing, so you can click on the link and have a look at it. And with that, I just want to say that none of what you're feeling is not untrue. And you can lose your virginity in the ether before you actually make love in the 3D. And it is the same. And that's why during separation, you feel like you have been abandoned. You feel like, how could he do this? Because he really entered your field, you know. It was not a normal relationship at all. If he can feel awkward in your presence, can't you feel all that you're feeling? So just because he didn't touch you, does that mean he can run away and be cruel to you, be brutal to you, or make it sound like you don't matter at all? Or dismiss all the memories? Dismiss all the photographs? Dismiss all the moments he spent with you in your most sacred space, like your home, your family, your life? The field matter, guys. That's why you have to focus on the field, not in the 3D aspects of love at all. With that, I'll see you all again with another discourse. Take care. And I really wanted to do it last night before bed, but then I'm like, I'll do it in the morning. All right, then I'll come back with another one. I've been seeing a lot of suggestions coming in from you guys, and I am you know, building, working on tapping into the Akashic Records, looking at the multidimensional records, you know, just been thinking, you know. That's why I say when you use your mind as an assistant, you become very productive. But when your mind becomes your master, you are in for flop. I mean, you're in to fail. All right, with that, see you all again. Take care. Love you all, and bye-bye.